Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
Welcome to Wager Talk Today, everybody. It is Friday. I felt like it was Friday last night, but that's a different conversation. Teddy Covers joining me, like always, my partner in crime. And jam-packed show today, Teddy. Rob Veno right off the top. 3 college basketball games, the Kansas, Memphis, and Creighton games. And then Skee Profits at the bottom of the hour with 3 NBA games. Your big game breakdown, my penalty box segment, so much more. But Teddy, we had a bad beat I want to highlight, and it's before your segment. So Tony had a bad beat yesterday. He came on the show. He gave out a play, and you can't help yourself. All you do is correct people. You love it. It gives you incredible joy, amazing pleasure. If you were a woman, it might get you wet. I don't know what it is, but man, oh man, do you love correcting people. And yesterday, you cut him off, corrected his total, and you were the one wrong by about 14 points. Do you have anything to
Guilty
say for yourself?
I mean, what do I say? Absolutely guilty. I looked up on the Wager Talk live on screen for the line that we were talking about. And unfortunately, I looked at the line or the total for the game directly above the game that we were talking about. And I'm like, Tony, you're totally wrong. What are you talking about? 210, 215, the total 225. Mea culpa. I'm guilty. I am as human as everybody else. And when I make mistakes, which I inevitably will, you got to call me out. That's what we do. The key is making sure that our viewers get accurate information day in, day out. And when I screw up, and I'll inevitably going to screw up, Prez, I screwed up pretty big in that one. I unfortunately gave Tony a big, I gave him a bad start to his day. But the bottom line is our goal is to make sure that you guys get accurate info day in, day out. If that means stepping on someone's toes, I'll step on someone's toes. If that means stepping on my own toes, I'll step on my own toes. And yesterday, pretty big goof on my part.
So, Tony, in case you're listening, Teddy did own up, but in true Teddy fashion, he didn't apologize. So I'll leave a little gap, and maybe Teddy will interrupt me. Otherwise, I'll apologize on his behalf, I guess. So on behalf of Teddy, Tony, he apologizes in his own Teddy way. Theodore, what happened in sports betting last night?
Absolutely. And I didn't know. Do you want me to, mea culpa is normally, I guess I didn't say I'm sorry strong enough for you, Prez.
Bad dude. Do you not have a wife? Wait, Joe, bring me back. Do you not have a wife in your life? I mean, I know you do. Her name is Kara. She's divine. Get it? Kara Divine. But anyway, Teddy, is that how you apologize to your wife? Oh, my God, dude. I mean, you get into a fight with your wife. She's like, you were so wrong tonight. You were so rude to the maitre d'. Now I'm going to spit in your food. And you're like, I own it. That's your apology? Like, you and Kara must fight like cats and dogs with that kind of pathetic ass apology.
Why, thank you, Lawrence. Let's do a little bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. A recap from the betting world in last night. But I'll tell you what, I started on the bad beat segment and it just kept going and going. And I'm like, this segment cannot take the entire show. There will be no bad bets I'm going to report about. There will be no bad for the books I'm going to report about. Let's run through some of the insane decisions yesterday in both college hoops and the NBA. Got to start with the Buckeyes. Ohio State's up 14 under 3 to play. They're up 12 with 1:38 left. The Gophers, the teams that are going to go home, they don't fight the last 2 minutes, except for that the Gophers did. They started hitting threes. They actually cut the lead to 1. Ohio State -11 wins by 4. Tough beat for Ohio State backers. Miami, Ohio, only down 1 inside 5 minutes. They couldn't cover 8.5 against Buffalo. East Carolina, UCF, total. You get 7 points the last 2.5 minutes. No scramble point, stays under by a hook. Rice, led by 4, just over 8 minutes to play. They couldn't cover plus 8.5 against UAB. Tough beat for Rice backers. Wisconsin was up 17 with just over 8 to play. Hey, they were lucky to win the game. Versus Penn State, -5.5, no good. Tough beat for Badgers backers. Texas Tech was up 66-61 late against Texas. Final score, Texas, 67-66. Red Raiders -1. They were scoreless down the stretch. Tough beat for Texas Tech bettors. Hawaii, this one was a bad one for me. 53-51. They're down by a deuce at the 4-minute timeout, plus 4.5. Wasn't the right side, wasn't the wrong side either. But they score 1 point down the stretch, lose 62-52. Hawaii backers didn't enjoy that. And Fresno State, Colorado State, a 1-point game with 6 minutes to play. The Rams get a late layup, a missed 3 at the other end, no foul. Colorado State -8.5. They win by 10. And that's just the college side of the equation. Then we go to the NBA. And David Sharp sent me a pair from the NBA last night. I appreciate when you guys tweet these at me. Thank you, David. I don't think the first one was a bad beat. It was, I watched Pistons Hornets. It was a tough beat for sure. With the Pistons, a foul sent the Pistons to the line with 1.8 seconds left. And they turned a 5-point game into a 3-point win. They were -4.5. But Detroit was the right side in that game. They covered the whole fourth quarter until Terry Rozier went nuts in the final minute. If Charlotte would have covered, that might have been the bad beat. Nonetheless, Pistons got it under the number. The Nets, endgame, 8-0 run against the Celtics. Again, it's a tough beat for Boston. Nothing egregious in the final minute. The total was tough, 113-109 with just under 3 to play. You need 10 points to push, 11 points to cash. The Nets got 8. The Celtics got none. Game stays under. That was tough. How about Raptors money line? That's a bad beat. They're up 16 with 6 to play. The Hawks not bringing their A game coming out of the break. But Atlanta with a huge run down the stretch, hit a miracle 3 at the buzzer. They win the game by 1. Tough beat if you had the Raptors in the money line. Dallas OKC, the total closed 216. You should at 190 with under 5 to play. Then the Mavs got hot. The Thunder hit free throws in a flurry the last 2 minutes. Lands 224. How about the Kings Rockets total at 231? 11 points the last 4 minutes. The game dies late, lands 230. Tough for overbettors. And there were no free throws for either team in the last 5 minutes of the 76ers Bulls game until a foul was called with 5.7 seconds left, and the 2 free throws sent the game over the total, got to 232, snuck over 230. Tough beat for underbettors there. So there's some bad beats. I'm not getting the bad bets and bad for the books today, Prez. One of those days and one of those nights where there was a lot to talk about in terms of insane late game action.
He's Teddy Covers. Outstanding, dude. I love that segment. And I have a quick question to ask you about that segment. How long does it take you to put it together? Like, what is the process that you use to go through that segment? Because it's got to be hard work.
So as I go at the end of the night, I sit down. I have the same process every night. Handicappers, people think we have an exciting life. We lead very boring lives. So at the end of the night, I do the exact same thing. I'm going through all the box scores. I don't go through every play-by-play, but whenever I see a game where again, I'm watching their scores all night, I'm watching the games all night, and I'm like, wait, that's the final score there? Whenever I see something like that, I'm going to go through the play-by-play. Whenever I see something that came close to the number, I'm going to go through the play-by-play. But I do it fairly quickly, Prez. I mean, that segment, start to finish, in terms of making the notes for it, it's part of the process of what I do going through the games. Making the notes for it, maybe half hour at the most. That and the big game breakdown between them, I schedule quote unquote an hour for it. Sometimes it takes longer, sometimes it takes less.
Yeah, I mean, it just, and it's such a fun segment to listen to. Robert Veno, father of the drummer of the world famous band Grayscale, Husband of the wife. That's who you are, Rob. You're just a dad and a husband. But isn't that a great thing?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, you cut out my second kid, who's pretty.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, to hell with your second kid.
I mean, I love him.
I wouldn't say that. You don't know what he does.
Oh, yes, I do. And he's very, very successful, but he is not the drummer for Grayscale. And Rob loves the drummer more.
Press, come on, man. That can't possibly be true. You have more than one kid, right? Or no?
Yeah, I love one of my kids more than the other. I make no bones about it.
Are they watching? Tell them.
It just changes every day. It just changes which one every day. Rob Veno, how are you doing in sports? Are you winning? Are you losing? Are you killing it?
Sports are good, Prez. Basketball season is good. At WagerTalk, number 2 in NBA profits, number 2 in college basketball profits. Year to date since January 1st, number 1 in overall basketball profits. So I'm happy. Wow. It's good. This week has been miserable, though. So despite all the misery I've gone through Monday through Thursday, we still rank pretty highly at WagerTalk. Got to get this thing turned around here.
Well, Rob, it's impossible to win every single week. God, our life would lack a lot of drama, but would be a hell of a lot more pleasurable if we were able to pull that off. Let's get to it, man. We're in the heart of some serious college basketball action. You're going to take a look at 3 games for us. We're starting with Texas versus Kansas. Texas -1, total of 135.5. Rob, if Teddy does correct you in the segment with any line or total you mentioned, you might want to actually take a look. He has the propensity to be wrong from time to time. Rob, what do we bet on this game?
I am so glad you led with that, Prez, because in my notes while I was listening to you guys, I wrote, I've known Teddy since 1998. I've never known him to correct me. Now, that could just be him being a friend of mine and being kind.
What?
Or that could be I'm just, I never give him anything to correct. We'll see. Maybe I give him something here.
Ding, 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 ding. Rob,
Texas, Kansas, guys. Let's go there. I'm going to give you 3. I picked these 3 games for 3 really simplistic reasons. This one, the reason is good matchup. I'm going to go to good current form, and then I'm going to go to just better team in the third one. But this is a good matchup for Texas, guys. Now, I know they're 2-0 against Kansas this year, beat them 84-59 in Lawrence, beat them 75-72 in Austin in the rematch. And it's so often said, for as long as I've been in this business and beyond, real tough to beat a team 3 times. Well, sometimes that applies, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, I would say Texas walks into Allen Fieldhouse and absolutely slaughters Kansas in the first meeting, 84-59. If ever you could apply revenge to a team, it would have been the second meeting, Kansas versus Texas. Kansas never gets embarrassed at home in that particular fashion, 25-point loss. However, they went to Austin. They couldn't get it done. They lose 75-72. So to me, that indicates right off the bat, they've got issues with this matchup. I'm going to go to the Kansas defense here. They had allowed 38% field goal percentage to opponents in 7 of their last 8 games prior to last night. All of those 8 opponents are Big 12 opponents. The only one that shot better than 38% was Texas Tech. Those are outstanding numbers from a defense. Last night against Oklahoma, they give up 47% from the field. They give up 50% from 3. I'm going to focus on the 47% from the field because last night they were without David McCormick. Their starting power forward. And, it's easy. The immediate thing to go to is he's the second leading scorer on the team. And it's a big loss when you lose your second leading scorer. But just 9 days ago, March 3rd, a couple of days prior to his injury, which has him out of this tournament, Bill Self was on a radio show touting how great David McCormick's defense had improved, how greatly it had improved this particular season. I mean, not to get into specifics and fundamentals and X's and O's, he indicated his ball screen defense. David McCormick wasn't there last night against a 4-guard offense, and they won the game, but defensively they weren't the same. Tonight, Texas brings guards, where, of course, ball screen defense comes into play, real good guards, but they bring a big man with it, Jericho Sims. And that's a weak spot for Kansas. I mean, McCormick was the best they had at guarding bigs, and now they don't even have him. So, to me, the matchup just got even better with this injury to McCormick. I think that Texas last night, that survival against Texas Tech, who had been a thorn in their side, is a confidence builder. This game, basically, guys, you're trying to pick the winner. The line is right in that range. Just give me the winner of the game. And I'm going to go with Texas here. I think Shaka Smart's team just has that matchup advantage against KU, especially without McCormick. So I'll take Texas.
Now, the Big 12 has been Kansas owned for basketball for many years. Jayhawks winning regular season titles. By my count, I counted they won, 8 of the last 14 Big 12 tourney titles. Is this year's Kansas team just way down from recent versions? Or is this a story where it's just a bad matchup for them?
I think it's just a bad matchup, Teddy. I wouldn't think that they're way down. I would consider them down, but I would rather say that the Big 12 in its entirety is up. It's a grind every night in that league, from Baylor on down. I know Baylor gets the most attention, but every night you're playing somebody where it's extremely difficult. So to me, the conference is up. When you see Oklahoma State with Cade Cunningham, as opposed to previous editions under Mike Boynton, that's evident. West Virginia under Bob Huggins, they're better. So yeah, I think it's up, and I think it's just a bad matchup for Kansas here. Very seldom do you find one like this when two teams are of elite status like these two are. But I think you got one here. I think Texas just owns this matchup.
Rob Veno, everyone, number one handicapper at WagerTalk in hoops this calendar year. Rob, let's talk the Memphis game. Memphis is -7, 10 p.m. Eastern game, a total of 134.5. How do we bet this one?
Well, this one's pretty simple, Prez. This is the simplest one of all. And I know you can get caught up in the against the spread numbers that Central Florida has put together their last 9 games. How about 8-0 with one push in their last 9 games? Central Florida, you're getting them as an underdog here of middle of the road price. I think it was 6.5. It's been bet up to 7 since then. However, in those 8 covers, I could care less if they covered East Carolina and Joe Dooley. I could care less if before that they covered East Carolina and Joe Dooley, lay 2, win by 4. Tulsa, lay 3.5, win by 4. Could care less. Tulane, Ron Hunter's bunch, care less. 1.5, they lay, barely win by 3. On down the line, guys. South Florida, Tulane, Tulsa, Wichita State. The only game that really is impressive out of the bunch is Cincinnati. They cover that game. They don't win. You know what happened before this 8-0-1 streak? Back-to-back games against Memphis. Those results are a far cry from the ones I just gave to you. Against Memphis, they're getting 11 and getting 9 in those 2 games. They lose by 14. They lose by 27. They don't match up whatsoever talent-wise with the Memphis Tigers. Now, Memphis can be frustrating. It seems like every time I turn them on, and I won't watch this game tonight for that particular reason. When I watch Memphis, that offense is garbage. And they'll make you pull your hair out because they throw the ball around, out of bounds, off people's legs, whatever. But they don't make shots and they don't score points when I'm watching. So I won't watch. Help everybody out here. But they destroyed Central Florida in those 2 games. And you can't convince me that a neutral floor makes that much difference between these two. Memphis shot better than 50% in both of those games. And they've only done it 4 times all season. 2 of those were against Central Florida. So again, they're the better team. And when they can play offense the way they played it against Central Florida twice, they're increasingly difficult to beat because they play very good defense. This is one of your better defensive teams in the country. Central Florida struggles to score points. I don't put any credence into their 8-0-1 point spread record. Their talent did not get better within the last month when they were destroyed by Memphis twice. And I think Memphis may be getting some, if you look at their results and their stat logs, a little bit better offensively as time goes on. So big game for Penny Hardaway and the bunch because it's probably their only way into the tournament. In fact, it is their only way into the tournament is to win this AAC. I think they get it done here tonight rather easily against Central Florida.
So I had this game on my short list, Rob, and I talked myself out of it for two reasons. The first is that Memphis can't hit free throws, and I worry in this point spread range about free throw shooting at the end of the game. And the second reason, I was worried about Memphis looking ahead to Houston. They're coming off the buzzer-beating loss to the Cougs over the weekend, and if they win this game, they've got Houston right back on deck. Do either of those two concerns move the needle for you?
I don't think you look ahead at this point in time, Teddy, where basically your NCAA tournament hopes are now or never. So I don't think it'll be a look ahead deal. I might worry a little bit that it's their first game in the tournament and maybe, they come out a little bit crooked shooting. They can shoot crooked to begin with, never mind putting them on a neutral site and in their first time. But free throws as of late haven't been a problem. I think I saw 72% or better in their last 4 games against this particular team. They shot free throws well twice, and they blew them out each time. So maybe 1 or 2 missed free throws won't hurt you here. I just think that they can build this lead and extend this margin against this particular team. So I'm going to stay on that side. And believe me, I'm with you. You can talk yourself off of Memphis as a favorite real fast, but I won't do it here.
Rob Veno, we're running right out of time, and that's a testament to you. You break down games better than most. Give us a real quick, give us some quick thoughts on the Creighton game, -1. What do we do here? No follow-up from Teddy, so this is all you, and then we got lots of show left after that.
30 seconds and out. I'm not being a UConn homer here. Obviously, it's my home state, but current form is why I'll play this game. UConn 5-0 straight up against the spread last 5. You see the improvement their last 5. Their opposition hasn't been great. I consider that. James Bouknight played once of the 2 Creighton games. He scored 40 points in that game. They lose to Creighton both times. They shoot miserably in both games, but their offense has really come around now. I think they're the better defensive team. I don't necessarily like Creighton on the road in most situations. UConn happier in this building than Creighton is. Bouknight last night, only cramps. Don't get worried about the injury. So for me, Prez, simply put, it's current form. Connecticut's defense to go with their offense. They're so deep at this point in time. I'll take UConn at the basically pick 'em price.
Rob, what do you got to promote for our customers, our listeners, our viewers?
My son's a drummer, and I'll promote that.
We know that.
On WagerTalk.com right now, I have a mid-afternoon college basketball play up and available right now. The nighttime card will be coming, as will the NBA, but if you want to get into one of these mid-afternoon games, it's up and available right now, WagerTalk.com.
Awesome stuff, Rob Veno, everybody. #1 handicapper at WagerTalk and Hoops this year. Rob, pleasure, brother. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Friday. Guys, give Rob Veno some love. Let's hit that like button, please. It would be greatly appreciated. We'll be right back. Teddy's Big Game Breakdown, Skee Profits, the penalty box segment, and at least a couple of laughs along the way.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. And I did an early game today. So those of you watching live are going to get my opinion about Purdue and Ohio State. Those of you watching on replay, well, you'll see if I was right or I was wrong on this one. And before I get started, I have to mention Rob Veno talking just before this segment. And Rob was saying, Teddy never corrects me. In all these years, Teddy never corrects me. Did you see what happened when I asked Rob Veno a question about the free throw shooting? He's like, they're 72% in each of the last 4 games or better. Rob has an incredible ability to remember nuggets of knowledge, which means I don't end up correcting him very often. When it comes to Purdue and Ohio State right now, looking at the Wager Talk live odds screen I got the Buckeyes -1. There's a couple of 1.5s out there. Total sitting 139, 139.5. And these are two teams. Normally, when you hear me talk, I'm like, we're riding the hot, we're fading the cold. Purdue, 5-0 against the spread last 5. Ohio State, 0-5 against the spread last 5. So normally, you say, hey, when in your standard Teddy analysis, you'll get this team's undervalued, this team's overvalued, the markets haven't caught up yet. You throw in the fact that Purdue won both regular season meetings, 67-65, 67-60, and you say, well, it's not hard. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. No, it isn't. The math shows the teams that win the first 2 have the edge in the third meeting. And yet, I think Ohio State's the better of these two teams. And I can only play the Buckeyes in this ballgame. Let's start, again, referencing something Rob Veno just said when he was breaking down the Memphis UCF game. He was talking about all these teams that UCF's been beating, and none of them are any good, and none of them mean a thing against Memphis. Look what Purdue's been doing lately. Indiana, a Wisconsin team that doesn't match up athletically with anybody. Penn State, Nebraska, they got Sparty at the tail end of Sparty's extended run of where they had to play all those games in a row. It's not like Purdue's been beating quality teams by margin of late. And I love the fact that Ohio State played on this floor yesterday, and they almost gave the game away. They turned the ball over. Coach Holtman, no question, we have to be better. We can't have 15 turnovers and expect to win tomorrow. They got killed on the boards. They outscored 20-4 in second chance points. And yet they found a way to survive and advance. I like that mentality for Ohio State. I really do. I think they get the job done here. Holtman, guys are excited. Ohio State wants this tournament. They want it a lot. And I would take the Buckeyes before I took the Boilermakers in this one. Ohio State -1 is the only way it can look as the Buckeyes battle the Boilermakers Big Ten early start action tournament on Friday. There you have it, Prez. Back to you.
Woohoo, brother. I'm supposed to say great stuff. They're betting in the chat room. Is Prez going to say great stuff? I think it was -280 that I said it, and I kind of said it. So that would have to go to the bookmaker's decision on whether I actually said it or didn't say it.
-280 is short.
Oh, Teddy, speaking of short, I went 4-0 last night in the NHL, brother. I am pumped. I won my 4% play in NBA. I had a 1 and 2 NBA night, though, but I won my 4%er. That's good. Skee Profit, Skee, you're rolling in NBA right now. I was looking at your streaks last night. Good stuff, man. We love having you on our show. We missed you last Friday, but there was no NBA to talk about. Hopefully, you took a few days off and did what I'd call charity. Loan yourself to the female species.
Oh, yeah. Charity is fun, I guess you could say. I enjoyed the break. I'll say that. I took the time to kind of study some of these college games. As you guys know, you guys do it a little bit more than I do. You guys do it day to day. And I tend to look into college around this time. So that's what I spent the All-Star break doing. And if you don't mind, just a quick question. What point spread range, if any, do you think it matters more for teams to shoot, like the free throw percentage? Like you said, Teddy, like I think free throw percentage is more important in college than NBA.
The point spread range that I'm most concerned is 7 through 9.
Okay.
When I'm laying 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9, I want a team generally. And it's that specific range. If it's 11, I'm not as worried about it. If it's 5, I'm not as worried about it. But from 7 to 9, in general, I want a team that can hit their free throws because that's a type of game where free throw shooting and the ability to make those late game free throws often comes into play.
And Skee, that really is a great question and relevant to both sports, but even more so to college with the double bonus. Awesome question. Teddy, what did you want to say? You got
I was going to say, in the NBA, the range is much lower. In the NBA, I mean,
4.
Do you worry at all about free throw shooting when you're laying like 5? I don't even think about it. I don't even worry about it at all in the NBA.
I hear you on that, and it kind of makes me think. I think I was looking at the Stanford game. It was one of these games. Not that it mattered at the end; they ended up losing outright. But they're not a good free throw shooting team. So I just been studying that. So I appreciate your thoughts.
Skee, let's get into it. Let's get into it, man. We're talking Cavs and Pelicans right up. New Orleans minus 7.5, 228. Can't understand why they're the Pelicans, but that's a different question. Where are we going in this game?
I can't seem to figure out why they keep lining up the Pelicans and expecting them to win by double digits. They just lost last night. And I mean, I know at the beginning of last year, this was a road that they kind of thrived in. When they were a favorite of 4 or more to start the beginning of last season, they went 9-0. But looking at this year, they're 3-7-1 against the spread. It's not a road that they're thriving in. They're 2-10 as a home favorite. I don't want to lay any points, let alone close to 10. And the Cavaliers, they're a team that went into the break playing really well. And this is the road that I really want the Cavaliers in. On the road, playing one of these lesser competition teams, 45% win team or less. Going back to the beginning of last year, they're 13-4 against the spread, and they're 3-2 this year. So I like the Cavaliers. I think they continue that play that they had going into the All-Star break.
Skee, I got a quick follow-up. It's just an interesting thing because last night I was watching the highlights of the Pelican game, and one of the answers, you ask a question, why are these lines constantly so inflated towards the Pelicans when they're not covering? And man, I watched the highlights last night and I hadn't seen the score of the game yet, so I didn't know what happened. All I had was the highlights, and the highlight package went like this: Zion with a dunk, Zion with a double layup, Zion with a crossover, Zion did this, Zion did that, Zion is a god, and the Pelicans lost by 20. So,
I feel you on that. I'm doing my work, and I'm watching the game, of course, but I do my work this morning, and I just had to double check. Like, did the Pelicans come back and win that game? Did I miss something?
Right.
I just hear Zion's name all day long.
Yeah, that's what's going on, dude. It's Zion, 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 and they don't even discuss the score of the game. Like, I honestly thought the Pelicans blew them out based on the highlight package that I watched. Teddy?
So I want to ask you this, Skee. Last night was an embarrassing loss for New Orleans. And after the game, Van Gundy went nuts and read his team the riot act. Is this the one game where maybe you want to lay it with New Orleans? Given the circumstance, given that they were complete no-show on this floor, the first game back from the break, and given that they've already gotten, the fact that they've played a game, I think, is an edge over a team that hasn't played a game yet coming out of the extended layoff. I can tell you that's why the point spread is where it is. Do you think there's any merit to that argument?
Simple answer, no. Stan Van Gundy, he's been singing this sad song for how long now, and nothing has changed. So I don't see it changing now. And you had one team, like I said, the Cavs were playing good going into the break. The Pelicans were playing bad. They come out of the break continuing to play bad. I don't think it may change until they change the coach. So maybe if they get a spanking tonight, Van Gundy can get out of there.
Oh, Van Gundy. I think Van Gundy.
He's not going anywhere. They just signed him and paid him a bunch of money. They're stuck with Van Gundy for at least a couple of years, I think. And he signed an extended deal. I mean, they're not paying him. He's one of the highest paid coaches in the league. He's not going anywhere.
Shocking.
I hear you on that. I just don't feel like the team likes him or don't respond to what he says that much.
That was a weird hire to begin with.
I mean, Zion must like him. He gets the ball on every shot and just, it's like 40 points from Zion and they lose by 300. Anyway, Spurs Magic, Spurs -7, a total of 215 here. What are you doing?
I initially chose this game because I like to fade teams. And Teddy, you can maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the same thing. Like we say, we don't want to catch the falling knife. When a team is winning, is it called the same thing as when a team is losing?
It shouldn't be. You don't want to step in front of the streak, but whenever we don't use the falling knife analogy necessarily when a team's winning because it's the knife is falling. So okay. But I don't know that there is another analogy. Is there one, Prez, for a team that when you ride? You say you ride the streak.
Okay.
Yeah, but I ride the streak. Don't step in front of the streak. That's the worst, though, Teddy. Just off topic, it's like, and when a team has won 8 in a row, 9 in a row, and you're like, I want to play him, but I missed the last 8. Next thing you know, they're at 15-0, and you just never, ever played them, and you're like, every night, why didn't I play him? Don't step in front of the streak. Do you know how many W's that has cost me?
And there's another team that's even worse than the team we're talking about in this game as far as that aspect. And if you've been that's why I like to look at it, like teams that have lost 5 games at least or more. If you just continue to fade those teams so far this year, they're 11, 26-1 against the spread. They're not even winning at 36%. So I mean, initially I wanted to come in and back the Spurs for that reason. I just don't think until Orlando gets a bit healthier, they're going to turn it around. You still have Fournier on the injury report. I think Ennis and maybe Gordon too, some other guys. So until they get healthier, I don't think they snap out of it. But at the same time, the spread, I don't love it for San Antonio. Another team that I'm not thrilled to go lay expect them to win by double digits. So I'll move more towards the total. And the number I made for this game was closer to 220. Magic playing at a pretty decent pace. They went over 4 of their last 5. I know it's before the break on no rest. The over is 4-2 for them. I like more points than that. I think this total is a little bit low. So it's went over 4 of the last 5 meetings. I know you like to look at that, Teddy. If I had to play this one now, I'd probably go over.
Sure. And the key injury for Orlando when it comes to overs in my mind would be Terrence Ross, side or total. Without Ross in the lineup, he's been their instant offense off the bench. Although they were able to get a point spread cover without him last night. Aaron Gordon's back in the lineup, but Fournier's not going to go tonight, which is why this total is as low as it is. Spurs, to me, I'd rather bet Spurs overs and unders. Wouldn't argue with that assessment whatsoever. I like San Antonio offensively a good notch or two more than I like them defensively, especially now they don't have Aldridge anymore.
Skee, last game to talk about, then we're going to let you go. Where are my notes? My notes have gone. Pacers, Lakers. See, Teddy, I do have notes. -4.5, 216.5. Oh, what are you doing here, brother?
And I can't come on the show. I know Teddy was extremely disappointed in me last time I skipped the Lakers game. So I have to put the Lakers game in there and talk to Teddy. And the Pacers, oh, man, they just look really bad. Like, I think the Pacers can maybe be a buy in the future. Karis LeVert coming back tomorrow, I believe. But they've just been pitiful. They've only won 1 of their last 6 games. When they play these better teams, like, you don't want them. When they play competition, you don't want Indiana. It's when they play those bottom feeders, and particularly on the road, I want to say, just off the top of my head, where you can get a discount. That's when I like to look at Indiana against a top team. And I know the Lakers didn't look like it going into the break, but now they're rested. You'll probably get a better energy, better effort from the Lakers. And a lot of the games they were losing, we can't forget, it was not just Anthony Davis out. It was Dennis Schroeder out. So now that he's back, you have another playmaker to help out LeBron. You have a good defender on the perimeter. I like the Lakers here. And I'll mention these 2 stats, but Indiana, when they play teams 500 or more their last 9 games, they're 1-8 straight up and against the spread, and they play tomorrow. For the Lakers, they haven't necessarily been covering, but when they play with Dennis Schroeder, they play opponents with win percentage less than 500. They're 12-3 straight up, 7-1 against the spread. So it's a low spread where I think they can cover. I'm curious your opinion on this, Teddy. I'm sure you'll have something to say. So based on that trend,
Lakers. I absolutely lean Lakers in this game, and I have not pulled the trigger, and I don't think I'm gonna. Without Davis and without Gasol, this team has nothing in the low post. Harrell is going to lose the rebounding battle. Morris, Dudley is getting minutes. That's not a team I'm excited about laying points with. Now, Indiana's a one-way team for me right now. I'm either betting against the Pacers or I'm not getting involved in the game. But I don't know that I trust the Lakers to win by margin just yet. I'm not confident in my powering number for the LA Lakers right now.
Well, I see the price at -185, and I think the probability for the implied probability is about 65%. And based on the trend that I said, they win 12 out of 15 times, which is 80%. And Indiana Pacers, they're only 1-8 straight up and against the spread. So would you say it's a smart bet to take them on the money line for the Lakers?
I don't play NBA favorites in the money line. I'd rather lay the points because in those instances when you lose and you're losing almost 2-1, it feels to me like there aren't as many instances where the team wins and doesn't cover versus when they win or when they lose straight up. You get the benefit when they win but don't cover, but you lose twice when they lose straight up. And to me, that's too big of a price to lay.
You know, Teddy, next week we'll bring on Ralph Michaels, and we'll actually go through that because it really is a great thing to look at. I mean, for me, and I'll tell you flat out, if I'm getting, I think -1.5 equates to -135. It's somewhere around that number. I normally take the money line in that spot, actually. So it would be worth delving deeper into that, and we're going to do that. I will speak to Ralph later today, and we're going to try to find that magic number of where it is better to take the money line over the spread. Is it 2.5, 1.5, that type of thing? But that's a really interesting point, Teddy.
Yeah, and I mean, the math on the money lines are pretty clear. You know what I mean? It's not like I wouldn't expect. Maybe we'll find some. Maybe Ralph will dig up some data for us that's super fascinating. But I wouldn't expect anything other than something that looks like a bell curve for each number that you look at. You know, the results are going to come over time. They're going to look exactly like what the point spreads look like. You know, in terms of that curving, up and down around the number.
I did my best to get Teddy on the Lakers today.
What?
I did my best to get Teddy on the Lakers. I tried.
Yeah, that's okay, dude. At least he's on the show. Skee, thanks for joining us, man. What do you got to promote?
I do have a best bet. It's not that often that I put up like 4%. I've been playing higher volume, lower sizes, but I do have a best bet that's 4% today. And I've been hitting pretty good. So that's what I have up for today.
And of course, if you're looking for more Skee, he's going to be breaking down the NBA with me on the new Sirius XM show, Cover It, channel 204. That'll be 8 a.m. Eastern time Saturday morning, and the replays again Saturday night. So you can check out Skee and I with an extended NBA discussion on Cover It this week.
Brother, thanks for being here, man. We'll see you next Friday. Good luck, kick ass. And remember the charity, Skee. There's a lot of females who want you. Go and procreate, my friend. Penalty box time. I'm back. To go. It's penalty box time. 5 NHL games are going down the board. I'm going to do it in 2 minutes. Had a 4-0 night last night in hockey. Feeling it. Anyway, let's go. Vegas, St. Louis. Vegas have goalie issues, to say the least. Fleury now out indefinitely. They're coming off of 2 losses. St. Louis is coming off of 2 losses. Guys, it's easy to think play the over here. Vegas is super quick, and they have goalie issues. Don't do it. This game is an under to me. I think you're going to see Vegas really tighten up to play in front of whoever is in goal, and St. Louis plays to the under. So under in that game. Arizona, Minnesota. I don't know how you can't like Minnesota here. Arizona is coming off of a overtime loss to Colorado where they put up 14 freaking shots. This Minnesota team is a good hockey team. I would take Minnesota, and I don't even have a problem if you lay minus the 185. Edmonton, Ottawa. Edmonton destroyed them 7-1 last game. I don't see anything changing here, Teddy. Take Edmonton on the puck line minus 1.5. Take Edmonton in the first period. Take Edmonton in regulation. Just take Edmonton. Colorado Kings game. This Colorado team has pissed me off, Teddy, and I'm going straight back to the well. This is a perfect spot to take Colorado in regulation, somewhere around minus 140, three-way line. Grab Colorado. They are going to put a clinic on tonight. And as far as the Anaheim-San Jose game goes, under every game, the under in Anaheim. Teddy, I made it through the segment, just to let everyone know. I'm watching Black Sails now. Started it last night. Well, that's the week, bro. It was awesome working with you.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed the Black Sails commentary. You're watching Black Sails on what? It's like,
what do you mean on what?
What? Is it a show? Is it on Netflix? Is it on Amazon?
Yeah, I'm watching it on Prime. I'm watching it on Prime, Amazon Prime. It's older. It's probably started about 10 years ago. It's a prequel to the book Treasure Island. It's got incredible females and amazing violence. The perfect combination for me. Take us home, bro.
Yeah. Speaking of incredible females and endless violence, that's going to wrap it up for the week. Thank you so much to Rob Veno. Thank you so much, Skee Profit, for joining us. Thanks to you guys. Please, before you leave, give us a like, give us a follow, and any comment you can leave. We appreciate it. Even just say comment. It really helps with the algorithm. It helps us continue to give you the best free content you can find when it comes to sports betting on the internet. Again, good luck tonight. Good luck tomorrow. Good luck on Sunday. We'll be back again Monday morning, bright and early, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon on the East Coast, with another edition of WagerTalk Today.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.